Okay, can everybody see this? Okay. Well, thank you guys for being here tonight. My name's Andrea Peterson. I'm the North Dakota Envirothon coordinator. And with me tonight, I have Rob Schilling. He's with the U.S. Forest Service. Tonight, we'll be going over the ins and outs of the North Dakota Envirothon. I think this is really important since we haven't had an in-person competition since 2019. And I know we have a lot of new teams as well. Okay, the North Dakota Envirothon is a hands-on problem-solving natural resource competition for high school students. Teams will review the study materials we give them, and they come to a competition every May at Crystal Springs here. Tonight, we'll go over the rules and regulations that's on our website, as well as what a typical competition schedule looks like. And then we will have time for questions. The National Conservation Foundation, NCF, is kind of the overarching organization for the Envirothon for all the state programs. They host the national competition every July. This year, the competition is in Ohio. And I believe that's sometime in late July. And the top teams from every state will go. Now, who are we? We are a committee of experts in the fields of aquatics, soils, wildlife, prairie, forestry. And we have, I think, 13 or 15 volunteers on the committee, as well as myself. And I'll let Rob introduce himself here. I think you're just gonna have to talk, Rob, because I can't quite get the people's pictures on right at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, good evening, everybody. My name is Rob Schilling. I work with the U.S. Forest Service, which is a land management agency based all across the country. I'm stationed in Dickinson, North Dakota, although currently I'm actually sitting in Sheridan, Wyoming, helping out the Bighorn National Forest. So I think this is one of, or let me back up. I think one of the reasons North Dakota Envirothon is really kind of unique and beneficial is that you have resource professionals from all over the state coming together to put it on. So I've been involved in some other competitions like this, or even probably more some other training, and it's often usually one-sided or kind of tailored towards whatever that specific resource is. So for example, when the U.S. Forest Service puts things on, obviously they're really tailored towards timber, towards recreation, towards wildland fire. But when we bring in other agencies like North Dakota Game and Fish or USDA, Natural Resource Conservation Service, you really get a little bit more of a blended approach, a little bit better presentation. And I think that's what really makes Envirothon work well. This will be my 5th Envirothon that I've been a part of, or that I've been a part of it with. And I think that's kind of interesting because when I look back, I've only really been to 2 or 3 in-person competitions and then done some virtual things. But I really have a strong passion for it, and I really like being a part of it. I hope that as you guys bring your students that they'll feel some of that passion that comes through with the different specialists. And I hope you as teachers can use this as an opportunity to kind of talk to them about those real world natural resource issues, you know, the things that we're dealing with on the ground here in North Dakota. We have had a few Envirothon students go on to have careers in natural resources. And I think this is a great way to get them interested and kind of set the foundation. So really excited to be here today. Look forward to answering any questions you guys may have or leading or feeding into the discussion as I can.
Thank you, Rob. Here's a map from 2000, going back to 2000. We've had teams, as you can see, from all over the state competing in the Envirothon. We've had over 360 teams over the years, 1,800 students. The lighter brown area is considered the Mouse River Loop area, and that their regional competition was not held, sadly, this fall. But the blue area is the Lewis and Clark area, and that regional competition happened in October. And I think all of you guys came to that event. And we're hoping to add another regional event, probably on the eastern side, over the next year or 2. Some highlights, like Rob said, we've had at least 50 students go on to have a career in environmental science, which is awesome. These are just some pictures from past competitions. We see it as a way to really get kids interested in natural resources. I've heard from kids who just wanted to join so they could get out of school, for the day, but then they actually ended up getting a passion in, say, wildlife, and they went on to have a career in that. So it's pretty awesome. Now we will go over a few of the different aspects of what the competition is like. The competition is made up of two parts, the trail test and then the current issue test. First part is the trail test. Kids will take tests in aquatics, soils, forestry, prairie, and wildlife. And I just want to make sure everybody knows where the study resources are here on our website. So this is the North Dakota Envirothon website. Can you guys all see that? And so all our study resources are on our website under the 2021-2022 study resources. Here we have like aquatics, you can click on it and there's different PDFs for all of these. I'll show you wildlife here quick. Wildlife, they give you 2 pages. They give you kind of a summary of what you should know. The second page has some different key terms and some different websites you can click onto, and they'll give you pamphlets that you can request from the state. So I suggest, really making sure you go through all these study resources. This is all you need to know, all you need for your team to learn this year to prepare for the competition. This is where all the test questions come from. We even have added a lot of new videos this year. Rob created several forestry videos for us, really explaining how like an increment borer works or a Biltmore stick. Soils also created a lot of great videos. This is because so often trail test questions could be hands-on. And so this helps you kind of at least see what it's like, possibly then practice it with your team.
Could I suggest something?
Yep.
We've watched some of the videos.
Yep.
And when they're trying to show us the form that they're writing on, would it be possible to have like a blank PDF
Okay.
on the site that we could print off to look at?
That's a good question. I will bring that up with the committee. Was that more related to soils, I assume?
For like the grass clipping one.
Oh, the range clipping one. Okay. Yeah.
The range clipping, they try and zoom in, it doesn't really show up well.
Mhm.
So if they could have, either a copy of what they've done or a blank one that the kids could kind of look and fill in as they're doing it,
Mhm.
that would be helpful.
Okay. I will look and see if I can get some of those for you guys. Yep. Good question. Thank you, Joanne. Okay. It's just another picture of some of the study resources. On that study resources page is also the current issue study resources. Make sure you have your team go over all those for the current issue presentation portion. Second part of the competition is the current issue presentation. We just have some pictures here and what it's like. People will give you all the information you need to prepare your answer. We give you all the supplies to prepare it. You don't need to bring any paper or pencils or markers for it like you did for the regional competition. It's different. We give students 2 hours to prepare their current issue presentation, and you'll do it all in a room, and we'll give you everything you need. So you don't need to worry about bringing anything for that. I'll just click on the link to the 2022 current issue is waste to resources. And we've had our committee prepare some different information for you guys, read through it, get a sense of what they have going on. And then at the competition, so this is different than what our regional competition was like. At the actual competition, you'll get the question and you'll have 2 hours to prepare your answer. So it's a little different than the regional competition this fall. Okay, next is registration. That'll open up on January 24th. This is just some samples that I had from past years. There will be also a team registration form. There's individual health forms, which I need for everybody, advisors, chaperones, students, because I need to know if there's any food issues or any other disability issues or things that we need to help accommodate with. I need a photo form for everyone. And then the forms will all be due by January 25th. We only have spots for 25 teams. So that's why we do have a deadline. The first 25 teams that get registered are the 25 that get to attend. And it is $50. This year, we also have COVID waivers. Crystal Springs has asked to fill out. There'll be one for students and then a different one for the adults. Those will be on the website as well that have to get completed. Now I'm going to go over the rules and regulations, which I encourage you to review with your team every year. These are on our website again, on the registration page. So tonight we'll just go over them real quick, just highlighting a few things, just a few questions I even had, because I haven't been through an in-person competition yet. So things are a little different. So I thought if I had a question, then maybe somebody else would. So first off, you have to be grades 9 through 12 to compete. And we really like you guys to get the sponsorship of a soil conservation district, which would be from your county. The soil conservation districts are more than happy to give you your support. Sometimes they'll offer the financial support of the $50, or sometimes they can help describe how to use some of these tools, or you can go to them for some educational opportunities. Just please have your students work to contact them. It's an opportunity to connect with a professional. Have them contact them, just say we're going to participate in the North Dakota Envirothon. We'd like your support. Sometimes I'll give you a written support letter, and then you add that to your registration form as well. There's a website here. That's where all the different soil conservation districts are, and there's phone numbers there if you need help finding them. If you're having trouble with that, please call me. I can help connect you. If it's not going well, just call me. I'll help you connect with the different districts. But this is real important. This is kind of a base for our North Dakota Envirothon. Okay, each team has to have 5 team members. Alternates are not required, but they're highly recommended. If you don't have 5 members compete, you cannot go on to the national competition. Please bring your alternate with to the competition. We'll take all the alternates and mix them up into different groups so that they actually still get to take the trail test, and they'll gain a lot of experience. They get just by doing that, and they'll meet some new kids. So still bring the alternates with, and you never know what could happen. You know, somebody could get hurt the night of. So please bring those alternates with. Okay, just a quick thing. I wrote some notes. Some of the notes in yellow are what I kind of added to the rules and regulations. These aren't like changing the rules and regulations. These are just highlighting some of the points that I thought to make clear. You can't wear any team gear during the current issue presentation. And we would like you guys to dress professional. So probably no sweatpants if possible. And this is on Friday. And we give everybody a team or a North Dakota Envirothon t-shirt. Those all have to be worn during that portion of the competition. All the meals, the housing, and the t-shirts will be provided to the team's members, the alternates, and the advisors at the competition. If anyone else wants to come, they'll have to pay their way. And please make sure to indicate if you have any food issues or other things needing assistance with during the competition. Like I know at the regional competition, someone was asking for a vegetarian meal, but nobody had requested that to me. So I can't make changes that day. So I need that information as soon as possible to give to Crystal Springs. They're really accommodating, but they just need some time to make those changes for everybody. All right, this is just, I wanted to make sure this was clear for everyone. There has to be a chaperone for each gender on your team. So if you have a team of 3 girls and 2 boys, you need to bring a male and a female advisor or chaperone. It could be the bus driver, it could be another teacher, or I'm not sure, but there has to be someone responsible for the boys in the boys dorm and the girls in the girls dorm.
So can I ask a question?
Yep.
Many times, for example, I've had maybe 1 boy, and there have been other coaches like Joe Super has many, many times been taken responsibility for that. Is that not, are you changing that to the degree where we can't do that? Because I don't know that I would be able to get a male to go with me.
That it will still be allowed. Thanks for bringing that up. One sec.
Yes, we have to both share Joe, Val.
Yeah, we do share Joe.
It just needs to be written down that he agrees that he is going to be responsible for those boys, that no, they're going to get to sleep. Because we're not going to be sending committee members in there to like make sure a whole bunch of ruckus isn't going on. We'll be there for emergencies, but yeah, we just need to know that Joe has agreed to chaperone my boy, or Val has agreed to chaperone this one girl, or whatever. Just write
Yeah.
that down on your registration form, who it's going to
Okay.
be, so that we have it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So does that make sense? And if you have like, say Joanne decides to, or Valerie, they both sometimes have multiple teams. You don't need, I mean, one advisor is good for possibly 10 kids, you don't need to bring multiples just because you have multiple teams.
Okay, good.
So advisors and students are generally separate a lot of the time. They're always separate during the competition portions, like the trail test or the current issue. But advisors, if they do want to do some like studying with their teams during non-testing times, like Wednesday evening, or there's not a lot of downtime, that is allowed. But they just can't be helping them on the test those actual times. Just wanted to go over the cell phone policy and make sure it's really clear. Smart watches are not allowed either, since a lot of like iPhone or smart watches you can get internet on nowadays. Phones cannot be, or electronics cannot be in a team's possession at any time during the testing portions of the competition. We recommend advisors lock them up or carry them around in their backpacks, or find some way to keep those phones away from their kids, or the team will be disqualified, the entire team, if one member is found with a phone. So make sure they know that, put them somewhere where they cannot get it. This includes all the trail tests and all of the current issue presentation, including their like prep time. There's like the 2-hour prep time for the current issue presentation. They can't have their phones in the room at that time. And there'll be trail guides with them too. So there's always going to be a North Dakota Envirothon volunteer with the team. So they will see if students pull out something.
Can I also make a suggestion? I don't know if it's going to be too late or not, but the kids, get their 2 hours of sequestering, and then many times they go to lunch.
Mhm.
And then they start doing their presentations. And there have been times in years past where during that lunch period, they're pulling out their phones.
Okay.
Who is to know that they're not finding out information that they can incorporate, memorize, whatever.
Okay. That's a good
Just a thought.
We have a committee meeting coming up in a week or two, so we will bring that one up. It's, there's been discussions to not allow phones at all once they get to Crystal Springs, but that's probably not likely. We just.
If we could just set it up, so right after breakfast
Yep.
until they have supper, it's
Yep.
a no phone zone.
Okay, well, we will
You know,
come up with, we'll make it more clear, and we'll make sure all the advisors know well in advance as soon as that. But I just wanted to, it's constantly evolving too, and everything is getting smarter, and who knows what else students
Oh.
might want.
yeah.
So, no phones. And just, no cheating, just no general. I'm just trying to make sure I have all the, teams are not allowed. That's why. They're not allowed in dorms of the opposite sex, except for Fridays, but by then you're not really in the dorm anymore for sleeping purposes. You're actually checked out of your dorm by then. You are responsible for all your transportation and meals to get to the state competition. And I just want to make sure to remind everybody to come prepared for all types of weather. We can have days where it lightnings, and then the next day we get snow, and then the next day it's 70 degrees. Just be prepared for all types of weather. Be prepared for ticks, mud, everything. Here, I just tried to throw in some pictures of kids huddled up. I know at the regional competition, I saw kids in flip flops and I'm like, oh my gosh. Because I think it was about 30 degrees that day.
Yes.
Yeah, so if you can encourage them to be prepared, I don't know how easy that is with high schoolers, but make sure they're prepared, please. This is just about the judging. We have different volunteers judging the current issue, and they help with the fail test grades, and their decisions are final. And same with scoring. The winning team will have the highest cumulative points over the whole event. The way the scoring works is the trail test, the 4 individual trail tests are graded, and then that score is combined with the current issue score, and then the highest wins. And then, well, except, okay, the top 3 of those go on to repeat their current issue presentation. And then then from there, we decide first, second, and third. Oh, and a school could be billed for vandalism or any issues they create in the dorms or at the competition as well. So make sure students are being respectful. Just about awards, we'll have trophies again, the traveling trophy and individual awards. And then rules and regulations are subject to change. Like I said, we have a committee meeting coming up. We'll talk about a few things. Now I'm going to go over what a sample schedule looks like. This was pulled mostly from the 2019 Envirothon competition, and the schedule will remain relatively the same. This is not, though, the 2022 competition. It's not set in stone yet, but this is just a general idea to help you get an idea of what's going to happen. So on Wednesday of the competition, registration usually starts around 5 p.m. Then we have an evening meal at 6:30. So if you can get there, but then we'll go over some tools for trading with a natural resource professional. There's some icebreakers, socialization, snacks, and then there's time to go to the dorms for night. So Wednesday is pretty light and easy, but Thursday is very busy. You're going 7:30 a.m. till 10 o'clock at night. We have breakfast at 7:30. Then there's some trainings and some briefing for everybody. And then the trail guides will they're assigned to their teams. They grab snacks. Then the trail tests will go from 9 to 11:20. And then again from 1 to 3:20. During that time, the teams will be with their trail guides, and the advisors will be off going to different advisor trainings. That's where we help try to teach you up, train you up on some of the information that we have like on our website. Make sure advisors understand all the information that we want students to know so they can better teach the students. There'll be a lunch in the middle there. Then more on Thursday, there's some snacks. And then at 4 o'clock, just the students will go for a 1-hour presentation on the current issue for that year. And so that's where they get some more, I think it's just an overview of what is already on our website. And then they can take notes, but it's on paper we give them, and they don't get to take it out of that room. It'll be they'll get it again on Friday. Advisors then, meanwhile, will be they get their chance to take the trail test. So you as an advisor will get to see what the students actually saw. There's some relaxation time, an evening meal, and then Thursday night, then there's an oral presentation preparation briefing. Thursday night, finally at 8 o'clock, there's actually some time for relaxation. Some years we've had karaoke, or there's basketball. I'm still looking into some different fun activities for the students. And then by 11 o'clock, they adjourned to their dorms, and hopefully they get to sleep, because Friday breakfast starts at 7:30. But before breakfast, teams need to have their dorm totally cleared out, because those dorm rooms will then be used for the current issue competition portion. So they'll have to get up a little earlier. Yes.
Does that mean you want everything loaded on the buses by then?
Yep. Yep. That is what I understand. I'll make sure it's clear before. I'll have it in the schedule for sure, but that's what I've been told how it works since we need to use those rooms, so. Yep. Let's see, breakfast, there's some more announcements. Then advisors will get to review the team's trail tests at that point. And then the teams then they will be off on their own, and they will get the current issue question, actually, what they'll have to prepare their answer for. And then they'll have 2 hours to prepare it. And then half the teams will go start giving their presentations around 10:30. And then the other half will then have some educational activities. There'll be a lunch in the middle, and then the second half of teams, and that's all just randomly selected. That's not based on the score or anything at that point. They will give their presentations. At 2:30, there's snacks, and we announce the top 3 teams, and then they will present their final presentation then, and then there'll be awards. We encourage all teams to stay to the end, but we understand that some have to go far or need to get back. So if you have to go early, you can request lunches or snacks to go. I'm not quite sure exactly what those all entail yet. I'll find out from Crystal Springs, but we would need to know that, I think, the week before, or I'll let you know more about that when we need to know if you want to go snacks or whatever for Friday. But yeah, around 4:30, we'll have the awards ceremony and we'll announce all the places. So that is my presentation. Now, are there any more questions? You guys had some great ones here during the presentation. Are there any more?
I believe there's one in the chat box, Andrea,
Okay, thank you.
about who the trail guides are.
Okay, 1 second. Chat box. Who are the trail guides? Okay, the trail guides. So the trail guides are different volunteers that I have for the competition, and they walk around each trail. So the trail is actually like a trail, and the kids walk around and they stop and they answer a question for 5 minutes, and then they walk to the next one, they stop and they answer a question for 5 minutes, and the trail guide walks with them, right, Rob?
Mhm. Yes.
From what I
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct.
And
The
this-
trail guide will be assigned to the team basically on the first day and will stay with the team until they're complete with the competition. So they'll be their support or their chaperone through the entire event once they're assigned.
And at the regional competition, I think we had like other advisors act as trail guides kind of for other teams, but at state competition, it's totally different people. It's no advisors.
So you said registration opens on January 15th or 25th. Can we get, are the forms going to be out earlier so we could have them all filled out and ready to send in, like when that opens?
I'm not sure. Let's see here. Why is my I think it's just gonna open up on the 25th for everybody. Yeah. Because you have till the 25th or February 25th to get them done.
Okay.
Just make sure, I recommend just make sure you know who your kids are and then just bug them to get their forms done quick.
And you prefer that they be faxed to you again?
Faxed or scanned, or you can mail them. On the form, I'll have a mailing address. I'm just working that out right now still. But you can just scan it and send it to me too.
On
Is
the
there
form
any way that, oh, I'm sorry, Joanne.
Okay, on the form there, it said, so it's a $50 registration fee.
Yep.
And then we also need to get now this year a letter from our soil conservation district saying that,
No, you don't need to give it to me. Just make sure you've talked to them. Some will just give you a letter. I know I talked to Burley last year and they were more than willing to just support it. And I think they even wrote a letter for Bismarck to go to national competition.
Yeah, we don't, okay, so for the last few years, we've won, So we've got our $50 paid for. Is that still correct for this year?
Oh, for the regional, yes. Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I'll
because we've
figure it
got,
out.
yeah, so because we've gotten our fee paid for to go to state,
Yep.
I haven't contacted them until we've gone to nationals. Hey, letting them know.
Mhm.
But
I think it's still a good exercise for the students to contact them. I mean, we're always encouraging them to interact more with these natural resource professionals. And it's pretty easy and quick, just call them and say, hey, they're all familiar with the marathon. And if you run into one who's really confused, just let me know and I'll call them up and I'll just let them know a little bit more about what's going on. And because I mean, there is some changeover with staff. So we really are encouraging you to just put your best effort to contact them and to write down the agency that is your sponsor, I guess.
so in that list that you had on that sheet or on the website, are there the contact names are there for them?
Yeah, though there's a lot of names or just for sure phone numbers, and you can just call and ask to speak with someone and say, I'm an Envirothon team and I'm just looking for your sponsorship of our program. And they'll say, a lot of them will say, okay. Or I've had one say, well, we need to talk to a couple people, and then they'll call you back the next day and it's fine.
Okay, Anna had a question in the chat about, are teams allowed to use any resources during the competition? In the past, it's the only thing that they could bring to prep was the information given from the presentation. So are they going to be allowed to bring in extra notebooks this year?
Nope. So during the competition, they can't bring anything. That they can't bring anything for the trail test. That's all just what they have in their mind. And during the current issue, we will give them a binder of the information that they can use to draw from to prepare their presentation. And they have 2 hours to do that. It's a real problem solving type of problem. They have the information and then they, having prepared for it, they have a better idea of what it all means, but they have to draw their answer from this binder of information.
Okay,
So in the years past, the trail guides have had a fanny pack with some resources in it.
Okay.
Are those going to be available or used again this year?
I am not familiar. Are you familiar with that, Rob?
That's hard to say. So yes, I would assume that the trail guides will have fanny packs. And normally what would be in the fanny packs would be things students would need in order to solve one of the problems along the trail test. So until the trail test is developed, I don't think it's really safe to say yes or no. But I can't even think of something. For example, if they're supposed to take a water quality test or something like that, there might be some tools provided to the trail guide that they would need. Or if they need a specific calculation or table or something, that might be provided to them then.
Well, I know
So
that
I
they've
think it's a
had-
very good possibility. Go ahead, Valerie. Or
I
whoever was
know
talking.
that they've had, like, for example, dichotomous keys. I mean, the kids
Yeah.
don't, memorize absolutely every genus species name for, so, but I guess when I was going at with that, if there is one, is there any way that they could have a list provided of what's in the fanny pack so that they don't have to try to focus on that stuff? As, in depth as they, and can spend their energy and whatever working on other stuff?
I think that is something I'll have to discuss with my committee a little bit more.
Okay, sounds good.
in the past, they've talked about going to a computer version of taking the test rather than a paper copy. Has there been any more discussion on that?
Not that I'm aware of. I really don't expect that we'll have that in place for this year. Rob, any thoughts on that?
No, you nailed it. I guess the first year of COVID, we were really kind of testing the system and we just were running into too many glitches. We didn't trust that it would work for the competition. So I guess it's been a while since I've been on a committee meeting or since we've had one, but it hasn't been anything that we've been discussing recently. I think looking ahead towards the future is something the committee really wants to do. But it costs a little bit of money to get the system up and going, and it just wasn't working well for us when we tried it the first year.
Okay.
Yeah, any questions, Ellen? I know this would be your first year. Do you have a kind of a better sense of what it's like, or?
I think the regional one kind of helped us out a bit, and then talking with Rob a little bit, he answered some of my questions when we met one day for the forestry stuff. So I think we've covered everything I had so far.
Great. Well, that's a good reminder. All of our committee members are available. If you or your team's just not quite getting one of the study areas, I know Rob meets virtually, or Benita would meet virtually. A lot of them will meet virtually to help you if they're just not quite getting something. And even if you as an advisor don't understand something, please contact me and I will connect you with the committee member that can help you guys prepare. Oh.
So it'll be 25 teams, a limit of 25 teams?
Yeah, that's all we have room for at Crystal Springs. With all the teams, the chaperones, the volunteers, yep.
Okay.
So, and I will, yeah, I'll send a reminder to the teams who got first, second, who gets a free registration from the past few years. It might be a pretty good list now. I'll send that out. One second here, I see another in the chat. Is it all memory based? Yeah, I think we talked that it's all memory based. Okay, do you typically have, oh, some years that there is always a cap of 25. Sometimes we do have less teams. Historically, we'll have a team or two drop out just at the last minute. Maybe they have a track competition or something. So we might have less than 25, but you never know. Hopefully, I'm hoping for 25 this year since it's been a few years off.
And did you say earlier that schools can have multiple teams as well?
Correct. Yep. There just have to be two separate teams. They can't compete together, I guess.
Do you need separate advisors, or can you have just one advisor for two teams?
One advisor for two teams, as long as you have that whole male, female chaperone.
Okay.
Yeah, Ellen, in the past, I've taken two teams.
Okay.
And then I will usually take like the girls, and then like Joe Super, since we ride down together, he'll take my boys. But yeah, we you know, I kind of have an older team and then a freshman team that I bring.
That's a good point, Joanne. Yep. Yeah, and if you're having a hard time coming up with a chaperone, you can let me know, and I can see if another advisor has a male or whatever who's willing to help with your team. I don't want you to not come because you can't find a chaperone. Any final questions tonight? Well, thank you guys for coming. This will be put on the website as well as the updated PowerPoint. It was just that COVID slide was the only slide I added. And the registration materials will go live soon. And then I will look forward to getting all your registrations in the mail, and we'll keep moving forward. So thank you guys for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.